Have you ever wondered how artists create colorful neon lips that still look realistic? In this tutorial, I will show you exactly how I colored these vibrant lips and realistic teeth step by step using color pencils. And don't worry, if you don't have the same pencil set, I will also explain how you can achieve a similar result with the colors you already have. So grab your pencils and let's start drawing together. I am using 72 shades of Brustro wax-based color pencils, but you can follow along with any good color pencil set. The secret is not the brand. The secret is understanding layers, color transitions, and pencil pressure. Let's begin. We are starting with an orangish red shade. The first step is marking the wrinkle lines and darker areas of the upper lip. Many beginners skip this step, but these dark details are what make lips look realistic later. I always establish my shadows first, because once the base layers are added, it becomes harder to recover lost contrast. I am introducing a lighter orange shade, then a purple tone on the right side to define the wrinkles and deeper color variations. Notice how the lip is beginning to gain structure. Even before blending, the small color shifts already make the form feel more natural. Now I am adding a light pink base layer. When coloring lips, always follow the shape. Because lips are curved, our strokes should also follow that curve. This simple habit instantly improves realism. Pay attention to the direction of every stroke. The pencil should help describe the form. The more your strokes follow the surface, the more realistic the final result becomes. If you are learning something useful so far, let me know in the comments what color pencil set you are using. I love seeing the different materials artists create with. Now we are introducing deeper brown and maroon tones. Instead of using one color repeatedly, we are slowly building depth with several similar shades. This is one of the biggest secrets to realistic color pencil work. Real objects almost never contain only one color. I'm layering warm reds, oranges, and maroons together. Notice how the color becomes richer without looking flat. Each layer contributes something different to the final appearance. Try not to create a color using only one pencil. Instead, combine 3 or 4 similar shades. This creates more depth, smoother transitions, and a much more realistic finish. As you can see, I am doing circular oval shape strokes to create smooth transition between colors of the lips. I am coloring according to the shape and form of the lips. Now I am introducing yellow ochre because the reference contains warm yellow-orange tones. Adding this color helps bridge the transition between the reds and oranges. This is where the neon effect starts becoming more visible. We are now approaching the final layers of the left side of the upper lip. Notice how the colors appear vibrant but still smooth. That's the result of patient layering. I'm using white to create reflections and bright highlight areas. Highlights are extremely important because they tell the viewer where light is hitting the surface. Without highlights, even beautifully colored lips can look flat.
If you are enjoying this tutorial, don't forget to save it and subscribe. I share complete drawing tutorials like this regularly, and I would love to have you as a part of this art community. Now we are doing the right side of the upper lip. Now we are working on the pink and purple section. This area has a completely different color family compared to the left side. We are moving from reds and oranges into pinks, violets and purples. When adding these colors, I am still thinking about form first and color second. The shape of the lip always comes before the color. Small oval strokes help create a smooth surface. They prevent harsh pencil marks and allow colors to blend naturally. Now I am connecting both sides of the lip. This transition is very important because sudden color changes can make the drawing look artificial. Smooth transitions create realism. Watch how the colors slowly merge together. This is why layering is much more effective than pressing hard with a single pencil. I am using yellow ochre color to create a smooth connection between the left side and the right side of the upper lip. Then I am using carrot color. This is an orange shade which is mixed with yellow color. Sharp pencil tip. Always keep your pencils sharp. Sharp pencils reach the tooth of the paper more effectively and leave fewer unwanted wide gaps. At this stage, I am strengthening wrinkles, deepening shadows, and refining highlights. These small adjustments make a huge difference. Most of the realism happens during the final 20% of the drawing. I'm using the white color to add on the shine on the wrinkles of the lips. Now I'm using purple tone, which is purple plus pink, to color the wrinkles of the lips and in the dark areas. I'm doing a border and shading between the wrinkles of the lip. Dark purple tones are perfect for creating depth inside folds and corners. This darker essence helped the brighter colors appear even more vibrant. Then again, I took white color to add the light reflection on the lip. We are at the last layers of coloring the upper lips. Now I'm coloring the reflection on the edge of the lip. Then I'm using a maroon color to shade this darker area of the corner of the lips. Then using amethyst, which is a very dark color. It is a dark purple color that is purple plus black. I'm using this to mark the darker areas of the lip edges where the lips are deep for shading the edges and the borders of the lip and also in some part of the wrinkles. Then using a dark purple color to shade the lip folds and wrinkle lines on the lips. Then I am using this pink color, that is pink lemonade, to color on the edges of the lip. I am coloring the edge of the lips using back and forth strokes using violet color. And here we are completed with coloring the upper lip. Now let's move on to the lower lip. We are beginning with yellow tones because this area receives much more light. The lower lip usually contains stronger highlights than the upper lip. I am carefully marking wrinkle lines before building the base layers. These guidelines help preserve texture throughout the coloring process. Notice how lightly I am holding the pencil. Heavy pressure too early makes blending difficult later. The first layers should always remain soft. We are gradually introducing oranges, reds and warm yellows. If you are following along with me, don't worry about matching every color perfectly. The goal isn't to copy the exact shades I am using. The goal is to understand how colors work together and how layers create realism. Once you understand that, you will be able to draw any colorful portrait confidently. Now I am strengthening the folds and darker areas of the lower lip.
These darker sections are very important because they create depth and volume. Without shadows, the lip would appear flat. The shadows are what make the highlights look brighter. That's why I always pay attention to the darker areas before focusing on the brightest parts. As you can see, I am slowly building color instead of pressing hard with the pencil. Many beginners try to get the final color immediately, but realistic color pencil drawings are built layer by layer. Each layer adds a little more richness and depth. This process takes patience, but the results are worth it. Now look carefully at the transition happening here. We are moving from yellow into orange and from orange into red. This color transition is one of the most important parts of the entire lip. If the colors blend smoothly, the drawing will look realistic. If the transition is rough, even good colors can look unnatural. That's why I am using multiple light layers instead of one heavy layer. The colors gradually mix together and create a much softer effect. You can also notice that I am following the direction of the lip folds while coloring. This helps describe the shape of the lip. Remember this important tip. The direction of your strokes matter just as much as the color itself. If the strokes follow the form, the drawing will automatically look more realistic. Now I am adding more layers using warm colors. Notice how the surface is becoming richer and smoother. This doesn't happen with a single pencil. It happens because multiple colors are working together. This is one of the biggest secrets of realistic color pencil art. Realistic drawings are not about finding the perfect color. They are about building the perfect combination of colors. And that's exactly what we are doing here. Now we are introducing stronger orange tones into the lower lip. This area receives more light, so the colors naturally appear brighter. I'm gradually increasing the color intensity while still keeping the layer smooth. Whenever you are working with the bright colors, like yellow and orange, try not to use heavy pressure too early. Heavy pressure fills the tooth of the paper very quickly, and once the paper is filled, it becomes harder to add more layers. That's why I always start softly and increase the pressure only near the final stages. As you watch this process, try to observe how every color affects the color beside it. Color is always influenced by its surroundings. A yellow beside a red looks different from a yellow beside a purple. Understanding these relationships can improve your artwork dramatically. Now I am adding another layer to strengthen the form of the lip. The lip isn't a flat object. It has curves, folds, and different planes. Every color layer should help describe those forms. The more accurately we describe the form, the more realistic the final result becomes. Notice how some areas are receiving more layers than others. That's intentional. Not every part of the drawing needs the same amount of color. Some areas need stronger contrast. Some areas need softer transitions. Learning where to place those layers is an important artistic skill. Now we are bringing in warmer reds and oranges. These colors help connect the lighter yellow areas with the deeper shadow sections. Think of these colors as bridges. They help one color flow naturally into another. Without these transition colors, the lip would look patchy. This is why color selection is so important. We are not just choosing colors randomly. Every color has a specific purpose. As the layers build up, you can already see the lip becoming more dimensional. This is the stage where patience starts paying off. At first, the drawing may not look impressive, but after enough layers, everything begins to come together beautifully. That's why I always encourage artists not to judge the drawings too early. Trust the process, keep layering, keep observing, and let the colors build gradually. Now I'm introducing purple tones into the darker areas. Purple is a fantastic color for creating depth in colorful portraits. Instead of using black immediately, purple keeps the colors vibrant while still creating strong shadows. This creates a much more colorful and professional result. You can see how the purple is helping define the edge of the lip. It's adding separation, depth, and structure. These small details make a huge difference in realism. Now I'm building texture using small controlled strokes. Texture is very important when drawing lips. Real lips are not perfectly smooth. They contain tiny folds and wrinkle lines that catch light differently. Adding those subtle details helps create a realistic appearance. At the same time, we don't want the texture to become too strong. Realism often comes from balance. Too much texture can make the lip look rough. Too little texture can make it look plastic. The goal is finding the right balance. As we continue layering, notice how the colors begin to merge naturally. This is one of my favorite parts of the drawing process. Different colors slowly blend together and create beautiful new tones. Sometimes the most beautiful colors aren't from a single pencil. They are created by layering several colors on top of each other. Now we are refining the lighter areas. These highlights are extremely important because they tell the viewer where the light source is coming from. Good highlights create realism. Bad highlights can make the drawing look confusing. That's why I place them carefully and gradually increase their brightness. At this stage, we are getting very close to the final appearance of the lower lip. Most of the structure is already complete. Now we are focusing on refinement. Refinement means improving transitions, strengthening contrast, and polishing details. These final adjustments may seem small, but they are often what separate a good drawing from a great drawing. Now I am using lighter colors for burnishing. Burnishing helps push the pigment deeper into the paper and smooth out the texture. It's one of the best techniques for achieving a soft, realistic finish. You can immediately see the difference. The colors become smoother, the transitions become cleaner, and the entire lip starts to look more polished. As we move into the final layers, I'm carefully balancing highlights and shadows. This balance is what creates the illusion of three-dimensional form. Light areas become brighter, dark areas become deeper, and the lip begins to look more realistic with every layer. We are almost at the final refinement stage now. Take a moment and compare the lip to how it looked at the beginning. The transformation happened through patience, layering, and careful observation, not through shortcuts, not through a single color, but through many small decisions working together. And that's one of the most valuable lessons in color pencil art. Every layer matters, every stroke matters, every color contributes something to the final result. So now that our colorful neon lips are almost complete, it's time to work on one of the most important details of this portrait, the teeth. Many artists find teeth difficult to draw because they try to color them with only white. But in reality, teeth are not pure white. They reflect colors from the lips, the skin, and the surrounding environment. That's exactly what we are going to create here. The first thing I'm doing is identifying the darkest areas. Whenever you are drawing teeth, always start by finding the shadows. Shadows create separation between the teeth and help define the shape. Without shadows, the teeth will look flat and unrealistic. I'm carefully adding darker tones along the edges and in the areas where the lips naturally cast a shadow. Notice that I'm not outlining every tooth heavily. A common beginner mistake is drawing strong outlines around each tooth. Real teeth usually blend softly into each other and the separation is created more by value changes than by dark lines. Now I'm introducing soft pink tones. These colors are actually reflections coming from the colorful lips around the teeth. This is a small detail, but it makes a huge difference. When colors reflect onto nearby surfaces, the drawing instantly feels more realistic and believable. This is one of the secrets that helps transform a drawing from looking like a coloring page into looking like a realistic work. Next, I am adding a light skin tone over the pink layers. This helps create a smoother and more natural transitions. Realistic teeth often contain subtle creams, pinks, greys, and warm tones. When we combine these colors carefully, the teeth appear much more natural than we simply leave them white. Now pay close attention to the texture. I'm using very light circular strokes to build smooth layers. The goal here is to create the appearance of enamel. Teeth have a smooth surface, so we want our pencil strokes to remain soft and controlled. At this stage, I am also using a white pencil to burnish the colors together. Burnishing is one of my favorite techniques because it helps merge all the layers and creates a polished finish. You can already see how the surface is becoming smoother and more realistic. Another important thing to remember is that highlights are just as important as shadows. The highlights tell us where the light is hitting the teeth. Without highlights, even perfectly colored teeth can lose their realistic appearance. That's why I am carefully preserving and strengthening those lighter areas. Finally, I am lifting a few highlights with an eraser to create extra detail and realism. And that's it. Our colorful neon lips and realistic teeth are finally complete. From the first light layer to the final highlights, every step worked together to create this vibrant result. If this tutorial helped you, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments what tutorial you would like to see next. I create step-by-step drawing lessons designed for beginners and advanced artists alike. Thank you for drawing with me today. Keep practicing, keep experimenting with colors, and I will see you in the next tutorial.